What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Brothers of Influence podcast, where we stand to encourage, inspire, and add value in the areas of life, leadership, and community. My name happens to be Ian Williams, your purpose coach. Find me on social media at Ian Coaches. That's what I do. Man, I'm glad to be here. Beautiful Saturday morning, May 14th, 2022. Man, almost half a year is gone. Wow. Wow.
Until you put it into that context, brother, I didn't even really think about it like that, but you're right. Almost half the year is gone.
Almost half the year is gone, man. Listen, and I'm blessed because I've been able to spend the first half, and a good portion of last year as well with the brother I sit shoulder to shoulder with this morning.
Yeah, most definitely. Likewise. Yeah.
Hey, man. So without further ado.
Is it my turn now?
It's your turn.
Hey, yeah. So, it's Sherrod Ledet, your growth coach of Greater Lexington, the leadership locksmith, aka the professor, right? I motivate, educate, and innovate in the areas of life, leadership, entrepreneurship, and business. It's all about where we are now, and then how do we get to our next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all in a now season, but we're always looking to find out what's next, right? So, and that's always going to be the case. So I am Sherrod Ledet, your growth coach.
Yes, sir. The professor, aka growth coach of Greater Lexington.
Yes, sir.
AKA father to the collegiate athletes.
Yeah. So.
Oh man. So yeah. Let's talk about that now. You're now to your next. How do you start making progress? How do you find ways to prioritize moving towards your next while also finding contentment?
I was actually ready to answer that until you threw that last piece in there.
Uh-oh.
That last word, he said contentment.
Yes, sir.
But I think the process, right, in the journey, because I mean the reality of it is a journey. Yeah. So that now to next is really first identifying specifically what does now look like, right? Being in the present moment. Because if you don't know where you are now, I think it's very difficult to try to identify where to go next, right? Where that next step is, because it's in the now that you identify kind of, okay, what's working and what's not working, right? I.e. facing reality.
Yes,
if I just start jumping into kind of that strategic mindset process, the first step of that is facing reality. What's working and what's not working? Because if you can identify what is working, then you can identify what tools you currently have in order for you to continue to move forward, right? If you identify what is not working, then you can identify specifically what you need, right? What's next? Because if you don't have everything you need to go into that next step, into that next phase, whatever that looks like, then you might find yourself getting, can I say, stuck, because you don't have everything you need. Right. And that's just that first aspect. That's facing reality, which actually then leads you right into self-knowledge. So who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? What skills, what talents that do you have? What non-talents don't you have? Because I think even going into your next, you got to also know, okay, what are my capabilities? What are my limitations? Because I may not have exactly what I need, but I have to be able to identify that and be okay with it, right? Understanding that I don't have everything. I don't know everything, and I ain't even going to pretend like I do. But then that just takes you right into the next aspect, which is relationship management. So who am I connected to? Because if I then face reality and then I understand what it is I do have, and I don't have, then I can identify specifically, okay, well, who am I connected to that has the strengths or competent in the areas that I'm incompetent in, right?
Okay.
And then you,
I know you're on the road, brother, but you got to slow down, fam. You got to slow down.
you asked the question, brother. I was just trolling.
Yeah, man. So I mean, let's just break this down a little bit. I think there's a lot of meat there, right? Talked about so going from your now to your next starts with defining your now, and so that's really digging into what. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's really digging into what we describe as your present reality, like coming to terms with your present reality. Can you just dig into that a little bit more? I think we can spend a little bit more time.
Yeah, so digging into your present reality. I think that's really starting to identify, really looking, from, starting with the end in mind, right? So allowing yourself to look at your present reality is also allowing you to see where your can I say your future is going, because it's like, what are my goals? What is my vision, right? Currently as it stands. And am I thinking the right thoughts, or am I putting myself or building the right mindset that allows me to then build what it is I see? Because if I'm in my current situation and I'm unable to see where I'm going or what I'm doing currently right now, and it doesn't match where I'm trying to go, then that is your current situation. That's your reality, right? That is your present state. But it's not just you, right? It's also everything around you and everything else connected to you. Like I can take me, for example, as a father, as a husband, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as an employee too, right? I still got a 9 to 5, right? Like I have all these various different components that are connected to me. And guess what, bro? That is my reality, right? But I also have to look at, okay, so where am I going next, right? So looking at my current reality, I have to also know, okay, what in my current reality is helping me move towards that next aspect, that next step, that next piece, based on what it is I'm trying to accomplish, right? So it's really starting to look at the bigger picture, right? I'm fascinated now with puzzles, right? I'm almost going to say I'm infatuated with them because of the lessons learned in that. Like literally, you could use a puzzle to lay out just the aspect of your life. Like I'm working on the puzzle right now to give you more context right now. I'm working on the puzzle right now.
Okay.
And it's funny because as I'm working on this puzzle, right, and I've been intentional lately, right? So I ain't gonna say how long this puzzle been sitting on the table. See, you're like, man, how long it take you to put a puzzle together? Now, mind you, it is 1,000 pieces. It is 1,000-piece puzzle, but that's besides the point. But I've been intentionally the past couple of days in working on this puzzle, bro. Can I tell you that in the past couple of days, I have probably completed more than half of that puzzle? Because I was intentional and I was focused, right? I understood every time I walked past the table. And let me go ahead and just put out there, like my wife was also saying, bro, I need you to finish this puzzle and get it off my table.
Right, that makes a difference.
That makes a huge difference, right? Yeah, that gave me a sense of urgency, right? It put a little fire under me. But at the same time, I was able to start working on it. And man, as I was working on it, I used that opportunity to look at my current situation. So even as I was putting the puzzle together, each piece represented something that I was thinking about, that I was working through, right? It was a time for me to sit and reflect. I think sometimes we fail to realize the power of reflection in our now situation, in our current reality. Because in order for me to understand what's going on now, I have to be able to understand the pieces and the nuances that are moving in there. And the only way I'm going to identify that is by reflecting. So as I was building this puzzle, I take the opportunity to reflect, see the things that are working, see the things that are not working, what adjustments I need to make.
Right. Yeah, that's so good, man. When I think about the present reality, it actually kind of ties into my mission as in the entrepreneur space, right? I'm the founder and president of a company called Reconcile Consulting. And so when I think about present reality, I think about it in terms of something that needs to be reconciled. And you're talking about a puzzle. It's like a picture. It's a picture that needs to be restored, right? And so, yeah. So you wrestle with when I think about the present reality, what really kind of gets me excited, or where I feel like where go begins, like you want to pass go. Then what we have to do is like just we have to be honest first. We have to be honest. We have to be honest with ourselves first and foremost, right? And what I find is that is one of the most difficult things to do. Especially in a society and culture that we exist in, there's so many things that are in place to placate us, to conveniently distract us, to where it just makes decisions. Well, it almost makes decisions not a decision, right? It just kind of like something falls into place, and it is what it is. And as long as it's like like we get into spending money, right? We get into eating out every day or buying that Starbucks coffee every day. It falls into place. It is what it is. Hey, my car didn't decline. At the end of the day, my bills are still paid, right? But how much?
It went through.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, when you're honest with yourself, how much money have you spent on Starbucks this year? Could I have taken a vacation if I didn't buy Starbucks every day? Could I have afforded that gift my wife wanted? Whatever the case may be, I'm not trying to like point no elbows or nothing specific,
right?
At any one individual, but I'm just saying, like, that's an example. Starbucks ain't cheap, so right. A week's worth of Starbucks is a date night for some folks.
You're right. You're absolutely right, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so like reconcile that present reality. Like, nah, man, I can't just subconsciously, conveniently navigate life. Going with what works, what feels comfortable. But I have to pull back the curtain and say, okay, what's really happening here? Right. And with just continuing with that finance illustration, like, where's my money going? All right. If I'm saying I'm always broke, but I can afford Starbucks every day.
that math don't work.
that math don't work, man. That math don't work. So yeah, man. It's just one of those things, like reconciling, restoring the picture, because we allowed those shades to be pulled in front of our eyes. Pull that shade back and really look, like, see where stuff's going. Where's your money being funneled to? Because you're getting paid bi-weekly. You're able to, or you're running your business and you're taking those owner's draws, and your bank account is not going empty, but it's not where it needs to be for you to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And that just goes the same way for your personal growth, right? Where's your energy going? Where's your effort going? What habits do you have in place that are meant to kind of just help you coast instead of really being intentional and making progress and execute. You have to really take stock, man. I have to personally take stock myself of my habits and make sure that as few as possible are getting in the way of my ability to execute as a business owner. And I think that's been a journey for me for the last couple of years, stepping into this space, going through the quarantine and the pandemic. Like, what kind of quarantine habits are you taking into the second half of 2022? The quarantine habits, boy. Yeah, I mean, we have no choice but to get better in terms of our ability to self-lead and self-manage. Because we're not gonna get very far.
No. And bro, you dropped a word, man, that I think that hit me. You saw me over here. I be making faces. I be out there like, oh, stop. But bro, when you said, really looking at unpacking, facing, or your current situation, it really is all about honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Like taking an honest assessment, bro. Hey, hey, that's real talk right there.
Mm-hmm.
To honestly sit back or stop, reflect, and look, like literally to pull out the magnifying glass and start looking specifically where you're at, right? Not looking just at the things that you accomplish, all the good things. I mean, you want to identify them, but bro, you have to stop and look at the things that are not working, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love it because really what it comes down to is then making that decision, right? So you get honest with yourself, then you can honestly make the correct or the right or the best decisions in your current situation to help you get to that next, right? And I love the analogy with Starbucks, right? Because you're right, right? Now I'm not a Starbucks, no shade to Starbucks people. Hey, that's y'all do. It's just a little too rich for me, and taste and cost, right? Rich and taste and cost, but that's besides the fact. But you're right, like we get into these habits, we have these dare I say vices that we use or that we do daily, that we go, but yet we know that in our current situation, we don't need to continue to do that. We need to change that. We need to stop that, right? Because we understand the impact down the road. But in taking that honest assessment, man, the thing that jumped out to me, and one of the things that I take clients through is this, man. When it's all said and done, bro, you are 100% responsible for you. 100% responsible, right? My wife's not responsible for me. My kids are not responsible. I am 100% responsible for what happens in my current situation. Right? And when we take that honest type of assessment and really look at it like, okay, really, this is on me. Hey, you get your feelings hurt a little bit. Let's be honest. You get your feelings hurt a little bit because you're kind of like, okay, what do I really need to change here? What needs to happen in order for me to really understand what is going on in my current reality? What's really happening now that is impacting me and not allowing me to get to that next opportunity, that next step, that next door, that next whatever, right? So yeah, when you drop that honesty, I was like, ooh, I had to put that one in my pocket, brother. I had to put that one in my pocket.
No, man, it's real, and I think we're spending a few minutes really kind of digging into it because it's not easy, right? No. We are 100% responsible for ourselves, and that can be a difficult pill to swallow, because we're responsible for ourselves, but we're affected by a lot of different things. But it goes back to that responsibility. We're responsible for what we allow to affect us and how we allow it to affect us. We're responsible for our response. So,
I like that. I like how you slid that in there too. We're responsible for our response. I got you.
Yeah, man. It's not easy. There's so many things out here. So much stimulus, so much noise. In addition to the things that we wrestle with personally. Like, if I don't put myself in a position to be at my best, or if I don't set myself up for success, then I'm gonna be behind the curve. Like, because the way the world's set up, what I'm saying, just like, the folks with the Starbucks, the way their pockets are set up, it ain't really gonna help me get to where I want to go if I'm not if I'm not intentional.
Right. Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. So you dropped another one, right? So I can't walk away from it, bro, because you dropped another one, especially when we think about this, right? And I think this is a great analogy when we're looking at this whole concept of really facing where we currently are, right? You said, it's a tough, that honesty pill is a tough pill to swallow, right? Immediately I thought about, which one are you going to take? You going to take the red pill or the blue pill, right? Yeah, you're going to take the red pill or the blue pill, right? Because again, it really is a decision. Do you want to face your current reality? Do you want to go down that rabbit hole, right? As Morpheus said in the Matrix, do you want the red pill or do you want the blue pill? Do you want to stay in your current reality that you know is not very conducive to who you are, what you're trying to build, where you're trying to go personally, professionally, intellectually, spiritually? Like, all those different components are all aspects of your current reality. How do you build those? How do you look at those? And the first thing you got to do is you got to look at them honestly. Do you want the red pill? Do you want the blue pill? Right? Because again, in the Matrix, once my man took I can't even remember, but I think it was the red pill. When he took the pill, he had to get unplugged. He then had to step into what was now his reality. And the funny thing about it is, man, when I even think about that even further, is that he already knew. He just didn't see it. He needed help, right? To be able to get to that point. And the reality of it is, right, is that we all are there. We all need help, right? That's why it's so important for us to even now, you know, when I was talking about that self-knowledge, who are we? What do we do? What are our talents? We got to be able to know who we are and then see the relationships that we're connected to. Because even in this whole puzzle that was just, you know, kind of referenced, me and my daughter put together a puzzle. The only reason why we were successful is because I was handing her the pieces. We have to be careful of who's handing us the pieces to our puzzle as we're putting these things together, right? Because we would like to say that everybody's there to support and help us. Not always.
Yeah, not always.
Right? Not always, right? And that's no shade. That's just it's just a reality. All right. And I think it's very, very, very appropriate now, like as we walk through this, appropriate just to even touch the fact that, again, we really do need to stop, pause, and reflect and understand what our current reality looks like. Right? What does it really look like for us?
Yeah.
And how is it helping us get from our now to our next?
Yeah, man. And so, you know, it's interesting that statement, now to next. So we talked about the reality. I think figuring out who we are is a part of that, right? Figuring out where I am, you know, what's really going on around me. You know, what kind of life have I cultivated for myself? Now, that doesn't mean that I've had control over every single circumstance, but largely our response really dictates how we navigate our environment. So, like, what does it look like? So we self-assess, we're honest about reality, we're honest about where we are presently. We can even seek feedback, you know, from other people, which is, you know, people who actually know us, right? Where do I stand on this? So, like, for example, my wife's been on me a little bit because I've been staying up later, and so she's been noticing how that I'm been more tired. But you know, I've had some things happening over the last month and a half, 2 months. No excuses, but at the same time, she's like, yo, you stayed up later, so that means you ain't getting up as early, and maybe you're not being as productive as you possibly could be. So, and so, like, while I realize if I were to take an honest self-assessment, I could call those things on my own. But sometimes it's just good hearing it from somebody that cares about you, that knows that they're not saying it from a place of, you know, criticism. But really, they're just like, hey, I see you know, you kind of slipping. This is not normal. You know, how do you feel like this is affecting what you're trying to accomplish? So that's what that, you know, not only reconciling the reality, the present reality, but being honest about it, but also getting clear on what you want, where you want to go. Like you said earlier, start with an end in mind. So what's the goal? What do you want? And so those are like pass and go, bro. Pass and go. Goals and reality for me, bro. Once you realize what you want, not even just realize it, like, because you like you mentioned, you know, but there's any number of things, but a lot of people, including myself at different times, have been just afraid to admit it. Like, just be afraid to admit what we want. But then there's power. So there's so much power in articulation. Like sitting down in a space, either with yourself or with a coach like myself or Sherrod, and just being honest, like, you know, at the end of the day, like, this is really, really what I want, and I don't really see a way forward, and so I've just never admitted it. You know, that's both not only telling your goal, but being honest about your present reality. What is the ideal? Give yourself an opportunity to dream, and that's what I love about coaching. That's what really coaching really creates the space for that. Again, my name is Ian, your purpose coach, and Ian Coaches on social media because that's what I do. It creates the space for that, right? For you to reconcile your dream, right? Because restore the picture, bro. Restore the picture, because when you first thought of it, the picture was clear, but then that second thought that came after it murked it up, right? The fall rolled in and got a little bit more hazy because you just didn't know what steps you could take to get from point A to point B, to get from your now to your next. And so we come in with that fresh wind and we blow that fog out of the way and say, nah, we can look at this honestly and say, you may not be able to get there tomorrow. You may not be able to change your destination tomorrow where the direction you're headed, but you can change the direction. You can change the direction, and that makes all the difference. Because that's the difference between you heading towards what you want or heading, to some undisclosed destination that you really haven't bought into. And we making ourselves victims of circumstance by just going with the flow. Like, oh, this is what I'm allowed to have. This is what I'm given. Now, bro, you gotta take that, fam. You gotta say, you know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna give you that degree. Nobody's gonna give you that job. Nobody's gonna give you that business. Like if you're not making decisions on a regular basis, maybe not even regular, but on a daily basis that aligns with where you want to go, then you're just gonna end up somewhere that was unplanned and likely unwanted. But if you can reconcile your present reality, if you can get clear on the goal, I guarantee you we can roll that fog out the way. We can bring in the fresh wind to help refresh your vision so that you can get back on the track that you want to be on, working towards that thing that your heart really desires.
Okay. So, yeah, man, that's so good. That's so good. Reconcile the picture, man.
Yeah,
reconcile, man. Restore the picture. And when you started bringing in that fog piece, man, one of the things that I've always found interesting, just in our dialogue and when we have conversations, just general conversations, right, of just life, our current reality, what things look like for us. We always talk about, and we use the analogy of storms, right? I'm in a storm right now. I'm in an area which is turbulent right now, right? These storms. But bro, I have found that again. So if I could just use my mindset to reestablish and look at the storm from a different perspective, all storms are not bad. And here's what happens with a storm. A storm, and depending on the severity of the storm, what happens is that the wind blows and the rain pours. The beautiful thing about rain and wind is that it moves stuff. Okay? It moves stuff. When the wind blows, guess what? Everything that's not anchored down, things that are in the way, then move out of the way. Guess what?
Come on, bro.
If it's not anchored down, when the water runs and when the rain comes down, guess what? It washes away. And the beautiful thing about a storm is it's not the storm itself, it's what comes after the storm. But we have to weather the storm in order to understand what comes after it. And every time a storm ends, bro, you have nothing but sunshine and clear skies. No more fog. No more clouds, but now you have a clearer vision. Here's the other thing that happens. Sometimes, because we're in areas that we've been familiar with, we don't know the things that we need, and we are tripping over the things that are blocking or barriers or strongholds in our life at that time that are hiding things that we need that are in our current reality. But what a storm does, it washes that away. It blows things away. So that's why it's so important that after a storm, we need to not just run away. We need to pause and reflect. Take inventory of what happened, what was uncovered, what was blown away. right? When the fog clears, guess what? I have a clearer vision. So now I just need to take inventory. I need to reflect. Because whatever you needed at that particular point, if it was a skill set, if it was a relationship, if it was just a different mindset, if whatever it is, based on your goals, based on where you're trying to go, based on what you see, based on what you want, it can all be revealed after the fact. But you also have to take the time to reflect and take inventory after the fog is gone, after the storm has passed. So that's one of the things I've always loved about a storm, bro. They're not all bad. Man.
Come on, bro.
They're not all bad.
Professor. Growth coach of greater Lexington, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Because man, it's that mindset that when we understand and start identifying and looking at things differently, we get different results. Right? Like that's really what happens.
Right, because we are responsible for our response. Come on.
We are responsible for our response. Come on, man. Right? Because again, it's so easy to react. It's easy to get scared during a storm, right? Because it's unpredictable. We don't know how strong the winds are going to blow. And we just don't know what else is going to come with that storm. A tornado, right? Floods, right? And then depending on your situation, you just don't know what's going to happen. Can I survive it? Can I get past it? Will I be able to after the storm passes or whatever happens at that particular point? And yeah, I'm using the analogy of a storm, but again, in your business, right? If you go broke, right? If you lose your business or if you lose all your resources to run your business, right? That's a storm. But it doesn't necessarily mean you have to stop. So the question is now you got to take inventory. What do I have? What don't I have? Who do I need to connect with?
Yeah.
Right? What collaborations do I need to do? Right? What partnerships do I need to develop? And here's the reality. You don't even have to wait now or wait for the storm to happen. Let's take inventory now. Same thing goes with our personal development, right? Being connected to you, bro, and Shantae has helped me tremendously, right? Y'all are resources. Y'all are my brothers, but y'all also my resources because like you said, I need someone to be like, hey, bro, you tripping. I'm going to need you to get yourself together.
Yes, sir.
Right? Get yourself together because we need those people that can look from the outside in and see things that we can't see because we get so caught up in our current situation and our reality that everything looks normal, right? It looks like it's supposed to be there because it's been there. So it becomes a part of the picture. But when you restore the picture, when you reconcile, right? When you take responsibility for your response to what happens, right? That's all connected through our ability to, again, get that strategic mindset, start looking at reality, understanding ourselves, building those proper relationships, and then connecting those with our goals and our vision.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Yeah, man, listen. This is the Brothers Influence Podcast where we stand to encourage, inspire, and add value in the areas of life, leadership, and community. And if you just heard my brother speaking, that didn't move you, bro. You might not be living right now. You might not be living. Yeah, man. You know that's beautiful. It's because, like you said, like we've been saying, we're responsible for our response. So when the storm comes, like we have no control over that. And not only do we not have control over it, they're inevitable. They're gonna come at some point.
Yep.
At some point, the storm system is gonna roll through. The wind's gonna blow. The rain's gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Stuff's gonna be blown away. That's why they call them natural disaster. You know, we take it even further, like hurricanes and tornadoes, all those things that happen, and they can cause tragedy. But what we say, they are natural disasters, right? Nobody's at fault. This is just a reality of nature, and it's no different from our lives as well. There's going to be hard times, but it's all in how we respond to them and perspective. You know. Brother Sherrod talking about how he loves the storm. You can gain appreciation for it, right? Because it's true. It brings a refreshing after. There's a refreshing after the storm. And that's not to be insensitive to, you know, things that are lost in storms and things of that nature. But at the same time, like you got to have fresh perspective after a storm, bro. It's almost impossible. It's impossible. So How do you respond to that perspective? And you know, when you first started talking about the storm, it took me back to when I was a kid, man. You know, I'm a PK, so growing up in church and here, and one of the premier lessons I feel like my mom taught me, taught my brother and I. And maybe I caught it. I don't know if he caught it. I have to ask him. But she had this book on her shelf, and it was about eagles. And I always thought it was just cool. I was like, you know, there's a picture of an eagle. I think eagles are cool. You know, our country's animal.
Yeah. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're going, mate.
But you know, they're strong, they're majestic. You know, all the things that you know that they're made out to be. They're huge. It's crazy how big eagles can be. But you know, there's a scripture in Isaiah 40, chapter 31, 30 and 31. You know what I'm talking about? And he's not saying like he knows what I'm talking about. Verse 30 says, "Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall." So this is not an age thing, right? You know, I have a 6-year-old. My man's full of energy, right? He looks like he can just go and keep going and never stop. But that's not the truth, right? Even though that's my perception at times, the fact is, even he gets tired and weary. And as he continues to grow, he's only going to get stronger. And I was I was considered youth at one point. I grew and I got stronger. But even we stumble and fall. You know, we run out, we get tired. Right? It says, but in verse 31, but those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength, and they will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. This is just an encouragement to me, honestly. When you talk about storms, but those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. I need my strength renewed. I don't know about you, bro. I don't know about anybody listening to us, but I need my strength renewed. And this is just a gentle reminder for me to wait upon the Lord. Right. And but here's the trick. Before I let you jump in, because I was like, okay, what my mom ended up teaching me is the nature of eagles. Eagles, they perch in really hot places. Like they don't nest in trees, bro. You ain't never seen an eagle's nest in a tree. Where do you see eagles nest? You know?
On the side of cliffs and mountains and this.
Yes, on the side of cliffs and mountains. And so, out of all of the animals, many of creation in nature, they're going to see the storm coming first. They see the storm coming, and not only do they see the storm coming, they're on cliffs, bro. They ain't got no leaves or twigs covering up the nest, protecting the eggs. They out in the open, bro. They at the highest point. Like, you know, it's safe from the standpoint that ain't too many predators gonna get up there and grab an egg out of a nest that high up. They ain't gonna be a creature. But at the same time, when the storm blows through, there's nothing to really hold the nest down. So here's the second thing about the eagle. The eagle sees the storm first, and it doesn't run. It flies to the storm.
Yes, sir. That's where I was going.
They fly to the storm, bro. They fly right into the storm. And that's when the phenomena, like, it's phenomenal. Creation is phenomenal.
Yeah.
When he talks about us being mounted on wings of eagles. Because what do eagles do? They soar. They fly into the storm, and they ride the wave, bro.
Yep.
And end up above the storm.
Nah, they use it to their advantage.
Exactly.
Right? But I loved it because, bro, I didn't even think about the fact that you're right. They are on, so their ability to see the storm before it gets there, that's, man, perspective.
Come on.
Right, perspective. Because the reality of it is, a lot of times we wish we were like, dog, if I would have known that was going to happen, right, I would have better prepared myself. If I would have saw that coming, I would have anchored down, or I would have made the necessary adjustments so I can make sure that I survive or get through whatever it is I'm about to do. But when you're an eagle and you're on the side of a mountain and the cliff and you can see the storm coming before it gets to you, man, basically you're able to prepare yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, so you can, hey, bro, he's like, okay, here comes the storm. This is what I was made for. This is what I was built for. This is what I was designed to withstand and go through. This isn't something that's going to hurt me. This is going to elevate me. It's going to allow me and give me what I need and what's necessary for me to go to another level, go to another height. And I wouldn't be able to do it without it. So it's being able really to analyze and look and use those storms or those opportunities that come to my advantage.
Yeah.
Because opportunities are advantages, and we can be in an opportunity and miss it completely.
No doubt.
And that's what we're talking about, right? When we talk about this whole idea of what our current reality looks like, being honest, self-assessment, right? Being able to really understand where we are, it's really taking the opportunity within those things that are that we see, that we don't see, but being ready and prepared for them and understanding how we can use it. And that's why self-knowledge is so important. But here's the thing also, bro. If I can get through the storm, guess what I'm able to then do? Right. Help someone else get through the same storm. Because I've experienced something that they haven't experienced yet, but they're about to go into. So I can tell them, hey, listen, you're about to get a big gust right here. I'm gonna need you to spread wide. I'm gonna need you to tilt your head a little bit so you can get up under that one, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, because if you get too high, it's gonna blow your back. But I need you to go under that one, right? And it's only because I was experienced it. So that again, that's why it's important for relationships. Understand your relationships. Because it's not only for you to get something from them, but it's also to help them as well. Man, I have found, bro, the more I help other people, the more I find myself in positions that allow me to even further elevate what it is I'm trying to do.
Come on, bro.
Right? So again, it's not all about how I can get to my point or my goal or my vision, but how can I help other people get there? And in me helping others, I also then achieve my goals. So as Eagles, man, we set your house on the side of that cliff. Now, listen, I can almost go into because it's a mountain, rock, right? But upon this solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. Like listen, when you establish yourself, right, based on who you are, you understand your environment, you understand what you do.
Yep.
Then you literally have the ability to achieve. Not every time is going to be easy. Not all, like, listen, I can tell you now, I guarantee you an eagle, even though they're built for that storm, I guarantee you can tell when the eagle's gone through that storm. Guarantee you can. Because you got to forget, he had to go through those elements of the storm. Just because he can go through the storm didn't mean he wasn't impacted or affected by it. Doesn't mean that the rain didn't hit him or the hail didn't hit him. Didn't mean that the wind didn't blow so hard that my man's now missing some feathers. Because he went through the storm. But here's the reality. Because he went through it, he knew he was able to do it. And he's now better because of it. Things that needed to be removed are now removed, but now it gave an opportunity for him to now grow what he needs to grow. Understand what he needs to understand. See what he needs to see. Gain a whole nother perspective. Every storm is not the same. Every storm will never be the same.
Come on.
It's going to be different for other people that go through the storm, just like it was different when you went through the storm. The storm was designed for you. It's also designed for other people, but it's going to meet you where you are.
Yep.
I can go on for days with that, brother. That's some good stuff, man. But it is so relevant in this conversation.
No doubt, bro. No doubt.
And I think, we're using this analogy of the eagle and the storm, and in all essence, in all aspects of this conversation, what we're talking about really is, one, assessing who you are, what you got, right? And knowing and understanding, listen, you are going through life. And life is going to happen regardless if you're ready for it or not. But with Brothers of Influence, what we talk about here is life, leadership, and community.
Yeah.
And the reason why we talk about life, leadership, and community, because we know that and understand that those are going to be consistent. They're the things that we're in now. They're the things that are always going to allow us to be better in what we do. Right? Life gives us lessons. Leadership allows us to apply those lessons, not for our own benefit, but for the benefit of others.
Come on, bro.
Allowing us to then use our leadership to then build a community that makes us stronger. Brothers of influence, life, leadership, and community.
There it is. There it is. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. So we covered a lot of ground today, man. We talked about what it looks like to kind of reconcile your present reality, your now, reconcile that now, like getting clear on who you are, getting clear on where you are. You know, even being open to hearing from the people that are closest to you. Talked about the power of articulating what you want. Like, so many of us are paralyzed in fear, just saying what we really want, being honest about what we really want. There's a number of reasons why that might be.
Yeah.
But really wrestling with that is like that's one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's really wrestling with what's holding you back from what you want. Because as a coach, both Sherrod and I can tell you, there is a way forward. There is a way forward. And the beautiful thing about it is like, we're human beings, right? So while we have an idea of what we want, that thing more than likely will evolve as we progress on the journey. And that journey, that's part of what makes that journey so beautiful, because you're going to start realizing there are opportunities and options that were always there that you just weren't aware of. So much of this journey is about awareness, right? It's like, man, you know, if you work on those two things, that articulating what you want, getting clear on where you are, you're probably going to wake up to some truths about yourself, and they were always true, but you just didn't know it. As far as what you were capable of, the sort of impact you can make, the sort of difference that you can have in the spaces that you're in, the sort of influence that you have, the power, which really equates to the power you have to make change, to really make a difference in the lives of the people that matter most to you. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
it's a game changer.
Yeah.
It's a game changer, and that's why we say life, leadership, and community, because it impacts every area of your life. And this is, and you know, we're talking really fundamental things right now, but it's good because as a coach, it's what I get excited about, and it's foundational to what I do, and it's a reflection of who I am, because I love seeing people not only maximize their potential, but realize it. It's that revelation that makes all the difference. Like realizing who I am, what I'm capable of. Man, that's the sort of thing that brings me to tears of joy, really, to help somebody reconcile those things. And then just set them out, let them loose in the world, man, you know?
Yeah.
Out there,
Yeah.
and change the world.
Yeah, bro. And it's so it literally unlocks so much.
Yeah. Come on, Locksmith.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah, it unlocks so much, man. Like when you're able to really see what you are, who you're connected to, like you then become a limitless person, right? Your ability is basically goes beyond whatever you thought. Your capability is there.
Yeah.
But it's when you start looking at and understanding and start unlocking those various different areas that allows you to then rise to that next component, right? One of the things that I do with leadership as a locksmith is the value key, right? Now I was going to drop the value key, but I'll give you the first key in the value key. And the first thing is knowledge, right? The first thing is knowledge. Knowledge is powerful, but it's only powerful when it's applied. Its potential power is just in the knowing of it. But when you put it into application, that's when the power of that knowledge is then unlocked in your life.
Yeah.
Because then guess what happens? It's this thing called evolution. When you gain specific knowledge of yourself, who you are, you then are able to unlock areas about yourself, the way that you think, the way that you act, the way that you see, the way that you do. So many things unlock when you understand the knowledge, the power behind the knowledge, but number one, the power of yourself.
Yes, sir.
It opens so many other opportunities and opens up opportunities in your current reality. In your current reality. And you are 100% responsible for responding once you unlock it. Your response, your responsibility.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor, Leadership Locksmith, aka Growth Coach of Great Lessons, out here dropping bombs on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, bro. I'm just so excited about this stuff because again, and I think anybody who's watching this can tell that we really love what we do, right? And it's not even like we're excited about giving it, right? But in the same breath, we're giving you what we've experienced, right? It's not something that we talk about that we read or it's out of theory, it's out of practice, right? If you were to go back to where I was and see where I am now, you're going to be like, whoa, so you went through all that? Yes, I did. And some of the storms I didn't think I was going to make it through. Some of the storms I didn't want to go through. Some of them storms I balled up and cried. I ain't going to lie to you. Your man was in the corner somewhere hurt. But when the storm was over, right, I got up. Even now, I'm still standing. And it's because of the things that I've gone through. It's because of the things that I'm going through. It's because of the things that I want to go to, right? It's where I'm trying to get to. And we're all in that, man. We can all connect or relate to this conversation. We can all relate to all these various different great nuggets and aspects. Man, I'm gonna go back and listen to this thing because, hey, we came out the gate like, pow, right?
Yes, sir.
But it's all relevant, man. All relevant. And I think at times, this conversation was very necessary from the perspective that, like you said, we're halfway through the year, right? We're halfway through the year. So, man, in the last 5 months, I can tell you, bro, a lot of people, to include myself, have been through a lot, right? Been through a lot, let alone what has happened in the past 2 years, right? That again, we have these gaps because of the pandemic and COVID and blah, 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 right? And listen, if we're paying attention, watching the news, looking at what's going on and different things like that, bro, and there's still yet more to come, right? There's still a lot of uncertainty. There's still a lot of challenges still ahead. But I can tell you now that, again, if we made it through the pandemic, COVID, even just these last 5 months, bro, if you just made it through the last 5 days, right? If you made it through the last 5 days, this too shall pass. But at the same time, don't neglect your responsibility in it. Right. Don't neglect your opportunity to gain something new, a new perspective, a new understanding, to get that knowledge, but not just get it, but apply it.
Come on.
Right? Self-knowledge, right? Get that self-knowledge. Because when it's all said and done, the one thing that's going to be consistent in all aspects of your life is going to be you. Who you are.
That's
you
real.
will be consistent, right? So the question is what are you going to do? What value are you going to add? How are you going to position yourself? Because how you position yourself will determine the outcome in which you're going to get.
There it is.
And then who you position yourself with. But okay, I'm going to stop, bro.
Listen,
I'm geared up.
He's teaching a masterclass, ladies and gentlemen. Get your money while it's good. Get your money while it's good. Take it in. Matter of fact, follow his lead and rewatch this one because My brother's really dropping bombs, dropping dimes in here. Well, listen, this is the Brothers in Influence podcast, where we stand to encourage, inspire, and add value in the areas of life, leadership, and community. We said a lot today, but all of it with purpose, right? We're purpose-driven folks. We're men of faith. We're fathers. We're husbands. It does not mean that we're perfect, but we're perfectly in pursuit, right? We at the end of the day, I think someone better than me said, I just want to be known as a man that tried. I just want, we're men, we are men actively trying out here, okay? We're men actively trying. We appreciate you rocking with us. Feel free to continue following us. If you want to, we here every Saturday, 10 a.m., baby. Let's go. Brothers in Influence.
Yes, sir.
We out. Sir.